a massacre that shocked the world. Now, a new investigation is uncovering what researchers call systematic sexual violence carried out during the October 7th attacks. Testimonies, forensic evidence, survivors speaking out after months of silence. And at the center of it all, an explosive accusation that rape was used not as chaos, but as strategy. As new evidence emerges from the October 7th Hamas attack on southern Israel, a landmark investigation is now documenting what researchers describe as one of the most systematic cases of wartime sexual violence in recent history. A newly released report concludes that Hamas militants and allied attackers carried out widespread acts of rape, sexual assault, and sexual torture during and after the assault, describing the violence as deliberate, organized, and intended to maximize pain, humiliation, and collective trauma. The report, shared first with CNN, presents what researchers call the most comprehensive body of evidence so far concerning sexual and gender-based violence committed during the October 7th attack and against hostages held in Gaza. According to the findings, the violence targeted women, men, and children and occurred across multiple attack sites in southern Israel. Lead author Koshav El-Kayam Levi, a human rights expert and founder of the Civil Commission documenting the attacks, stated that the evidence indicates sexual violence was not isolated or opportunistic, but rather part of a calculated strategy.
The most important finding is the fact that the sexual violence on October 7th and against hostages in captivity has been a calculated strategy by Hamas.
The investigation includes testimonies from more than 10 survivors who reported enduring sexual violence during the attacks, abductions, or captivity in Gaza. Several former hostages, including Romi Gonen, Arbel Yehud, Amit Susana, and Ilana Gritsevsky, have previously spoken publicly about their experiences, while others shared testimony confidentially with investigators, medical professionals, and legal experts. Among the newly revealed allegations are claims involving 2 minors who, while held hostage in Gaza, reported being sexually abused and forced by captors to perform sexual acts on each other. One of the report's most disturbing sections details alleged rapes at the Nova Music Festival near the Gaza border. A survivor hiding near the site described hearing a woman being repeatedly assaulted by multiple attackers.
I heard one rape where they were passing her around. She was probably injured, judging by her screams. Screams you have never heard anywhere.
The report also outlines at least 6 additional incidents involving witnesses who described seeing rapes and gang rapes during the assault, with several accounts alleging that victims were later mutilated or shot dead. Researchers stated that many bodies recovered after the attack showed signs of severe mutilation, including injuries targeting intimate areas and burns inflicted after death.
Sexual violence is meant to torture, humiliate. They mutilated the victims' intimate organs. They burned their genital areas, creating such a pain and suffering that will be remembered for generations to come. The victim is a symbol of a nation. It's the collective impact of it, the collective trauma that it creates, the collective suffering.
The issue of sexual violence linked to October 7th has remained highly politicized since the attack. Some early accounts circulated immediately after the assault were later proven false, leading critics to question wider allegations. The United Nations Special Representative on Sexual Violence in Conflict, Pramila Patten, previously concluded there were reasonable grounds to believe that rape and gang rape occurred during the attacks. Hamas has repeatedly denied allegations that its militants committed sexual violence during the assault or against hostages held in Gaza. As investigations continue and more testimony emerges, researchers behind the report say their goal is to preserve evidence and ensure that the experiences of victims are neither denied nor forgotten.
After assassinating top Hamas commander Mohammed Sinwar in May 2025, the Israeli military deployed a special unit into an underground complex he had used. A New York Times report has revealed that the unit discovered a computer not connected to any network, making it much harder to monitor than typical Hamas communication channels. The device contained an image of a 6-page handwritten memo in Arabic, which Israeli intelligence believes was authored by Sinwar's brother Yahya Sinwar, Hamas's powerful leader in Gaza, who helped orchestrate the October 7, 2023 attack on Israel. According to the NYT, citing 7 Israeli officials, the memo, dated August 24, 2022, appears to contain directives from Sinwar detailing instructions for the assault. The New York Times report quoted an Israeli official who claimed to know detail of the memo as saying,
"It calls for fighters to target soldiers and civilian communities, as well as to broadcast the violent acts so as to evoke fear in Israelis and destabilize the country."
The report also noted that based on previously unreported communications intercepted by Israel between Hamas commanders and their subordinates during the assault, the commanders issued similar instructions on October 7th. Israeli officials told the New York Times,
The memo shows that Sinwar wanted his fighters to target civilians from the outset, contradicting what the group's leadership has publicly claimed.
Citing Israeli official, the NYT report further said,
Although the memo does not explicitly mention plans to kidnap or kill civilians, it lays out orders for fighters to enter residential neighborhoods and set them on fire with gasoline or diesel from a tanker. 2 or 3 operations in which an entire neighborhood, kibbutz, or something similar will be burned, must be prepared.
Seema Ancona, a former document examination expert with the Israeli police, compared the memo with samples collected by Israeli authorities, including materials seized by the military in Gaza. Ancona said the note was written by Yahya Sinwar, citing examples such as a message to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in 2018 and a statement he signed for the Israeli police in 1989.
The handwriting in the memo aligns with other verified samples from Sinwar, who was killed by Israeli forces in October 2024.
The Times translated the memo, noting that several words and phrases also appear in other Hamas documents previously reviewed. Additionally, the Times reviewed and translated hours of intercepted Arabic communications among commanders and 8 fighter groups. Hamas officials did not respond to questions about whether the group's leadership outside Gaza was aware of the memo or the orders given to militants on October 7th. Ibrahim Madhoun, a Palestinian analyst close to Hamas, questioned the memo's authenticity, saying many acts described, such as the burning of entire neighborhoods, did not occur during the October 7th assault and that the document did not reflect the culture